Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully your favorite official content creator for the First Descendant, and today I'm going to teach you guys the build that you can use to clear levels 1 through to 25 in the Void Erosion Purge. It only requires one build and an S. That's it, okay? You don't even need to core your weapon to use this build effectively. Now tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a full-ass video of literally me doing levels 1 through to 25. I will do every single level with this build and show you how it's done, okay? More builds are coming, more guides are coming, but I know that from the feedback that I've been given, a lot of people are still struggling with Void Erosion Purge, so I'm going to teach you how to deal with it. One build, that's it. Very simple, straightforward, no issue, okay? So let's get started. How do we work this build? Oh, and if you guys have not yet done so, please register me as your creator. Link is in the video description. Okay, thank you. All right, let me get rid of my camera and we'll go through this at light speed. All right, all you are going to need is a reactor. Now it needs to be a tech reactor, electric tech reactor, okay, as you can see. Make sure you've got a tactical rifle weapon class mounting. This is for your secret garden. The secret garden is going to be a stat stick, so it doesn't really matter if you have this built up. It helps a little bit if you have it built up, but you don't even need to give it like maxed out cores or anything like that. In fact, I will literally minimize the use of this weapon, okay, and show you that the completion time is still possible. But you are going to need it for some debuffs, okay? So electric tech reactor, try to get HP on your auxiliaries power. Max HP roll, you can have a resistance on the second roll or MP recovery out of combat, up to you. Annihilation sensor is pretty good. Max MP, MP recovery in combat, annihilation memory, defense, MP recovery modifier. These two are used to get extra skill duration. This will slightly buff your fourth skill. That's it. And the last one that I have is a Hunter processor. We're not using the set effect. It just happens to have max shield. But if you want to use something a little better, you can actually run a Slayer processor with like max shield, toxin resistance, all that kind of stuff. It depends on what helps you. There's no right or wrong answer. Honest to God, you could also go with just a normal processor that has max shield, shield recovery modifier. That works fine too. Like I said, world's your oyster. Do whatever you want. If you want that, you can just plug this in. In fact, just to demonstrate, I'll plug this in and show it to you just like that, okay? So your external components, that's the stats you need for your reactor and external components. For your weapons, this is the Secret Garden build. It's the same one that I'm using for Defiler. Nothing is special. Just make sure you have electric enhancement in there. This is more for the later levels, and for Defiler, but again, I haven't really changed this from Defiler because again, you're not going to use the Secret Garden a lot. You're not going to use the Secret Garden a lot, so it doesn't really matter. It's mostly a stat stick, but you do need to upgrade its unique ability to level 4. Why? This upgrades your skill power. Now, skill power is less useful in the later levels of Void Erosion Purge, especially past 25. However, in the early stages, this is your carry. Okay, so you kind of want to have this so that whenever you're triggering a tech skill, you get the pest control buff. Pest control buffs gives you more skill power and firearm attack per stack, and it stacks 3 times, so it's pretty fantastic. Okay, for Ines herself, here is the build that you are going to need. Now, what I'll say about this is that this is actually my farming build. You guys should already recognize this as my farming build, but there's a slight change that you guys might need to make. Okay, let me explain that change to you. For the farming build, all right, you're actually going to want to apply the Void Insanity. All right, this is the same as this farming build, but we drop Potent Collector. Okay, or if you didn't use Potent Collector, all right, yours might look like this with emergency measures, okay? Or it might look like this with HP amplification, depending on which variant you followed. It's all the same anyway, right? This is the original variation. Okay. Just give me one teeny tiny second. This is the original variation, but this one is the same thing, literally the same thing, but take note, okay? We have put in maximize range, okay? The modules are exactly the same. Nimble fingers, focus on tech, focus on electric, skill insight, skill concentration, front lines. We drop emergency measures, skill expansion, maximize range. Now, if you have one that is not upgraded all the way, you can squeeze out a tiny bit more skill power. Skill power modifier, which helps your damage by a tiny little bit, but every bit of DPS counts. So if you really want to, you can get a maximized range that is just 1 off from the maximum. You will still get 7 bounces, but you will have tiny bit higher DPS, okay? And you've got 1 survival module increase HP. That's all you're gonna need. This build will carry you. Now, You guys understand the build. You guys know what to do. Let me actually go in and demonstrate to you guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for you guys, I will do 21 and 25. Okay, now when going into the Void Erosion Purges, I'm going to show you a little something. Please take note of the weaknesses. Legion of Darkness is weak against chill. So what are you going to do? Well, when you go to your Inversion Reinforcement, please select chill. So chill focus rounds. Okay, going up against Legion of Darkness, select your heightened sensory cells. I like to use this for Ines. And antibody explosion will help you survive thanks to the slight attribute resistance that you're going to get. Okay, so let's go off. Let's go to the Void Erosion Purge. I'll hit 21 and then I'll hit 25. Now tomorrow, like I mentioned, I will do a full demonstration. A full demonstration of every single level 1 to 25, and it will be fully timestamped as well. You guys will be able to fast forward to whatever level you want to see and see it for yourself, okay? It's going to be a full detailed walkthrough of every single level. But for now, this guide is to help you understand the build and what to build up, okay? All right, this is 21. When it starts, enemies will spawn. Now, if they have a shield, you're going to need Voltia, so bring that along. It doesn't really matter what the stats are. You can use my old Voltia build. You don't even need a core in it. It's just to help you break the shield. Now, I only learned, thanks to my chat, that apparently these shields count as RK shields. So it's not just the Void Vessel shields or the shields in the Special Defense Operation, which I knew about before, but these shields too are apparently RK shields. So, when you see them, just pop them with Voltia and that's it. Notice how I quickly switch back to my Secret Garden, and I'm not even really firing the Secret Garden. 21 and any level below 21 is easy with this, like super easy. Alright, I'm barely even casting my 4th skill, but usually when the enemies spawn, I'll cast my 4th skill there and just cast my 1st skill. You'll just be able to walk around and deal with all of them, just like that. It's really not too difficult. Okay, Void Erosion Purge 21, as long as you got the right build, is a sleep fest, is a snooze fest. Even if you die a couple of times, nothing's gonna happen. So I literally walk around like a badass and I ignore any sort of proper combat technique or cover or anything like that. I just cast as many times as I feel like it. When enemies spawn, if they don't spawn on top of me, I will send out this and I'll do it again. Alright? Think Winter Soldier from Marvel Rivals. You want to say again. Do it again, right? You cast it twice, the whole wave is going to detonate. Now this applies to 21. 25 is a different animal. 25 follows a similar principle, but it's its own animal, so please be careful with that. Alright? Now if you want to, you can shoot your gun at a tougher elite just to debuff it. Make sure you shoot 10 bullets, alright? That guy died before I could fully debuff him, but if you really, really need to, shoot 10 bullets, that's a full debuff, and you're good to go, okay?
You can't escape. This is going to hurt.
Okay, duplicate Alzarok has spawned. All you gotta do is just find cover. Like I said, you don't even need to shoot him if you don't want to. At level 21 with this build, it will carry you.
My shield. Damn it.
Stand behind this box if you don't want to get involved with him and just win. There you go. And you're done. Okay. Now we're going to head back to Albion. That took roughly like 2-3 minutes, so it's not a big deal, as you can see. Very easy to clear. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is the Void Erosion 25. Now 25, you're going to actually have some technique to it. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this one because this one's a bit different. Bear with me. Okay, Void Erosion 25. It's the same Legion of Darkness, okay? So make sure that if you haven't already, go to your Inversion Reinforcer, chill, heightened sensory cells, antibody explosion. Okay, you've got all that? Good. Now, if you really, really want to, you can even put chill onto your Secret Garden. Okay, there's a couple of ways you could do that. Now, I would have to restructure my stuff a little bit, but it is doable. It is possible because I do need a cerulean slot somehow. So we're going to move that there. And then I need my chill enhancement. So you can do something like that with your Secret Garden, and it will be the same build, just you have a different element on it, okay? Now, this would be for best results, but we're not going to do that, obviously, because I'm lazy, and I might forget to change it back, so I really don't want to do that. But this is what you can do at 25 if you really need that extra oomph of damage, okay? All right, so we're going back in. There you go, private operation. Here we go. Let's deploy again, and let's go through it. Now, 25, like I said, is a very different animal. 21 through to 24, you're going to relax. Not a big deal. You'll kill everything. Okay, but please follow the weaknesses of the enemy like I just taught you. And if you are confused, wait for the full walkthrough. The full walkthrough, then you can fast forward to whatever Void Erosion you want. But 25 will require a bit more skill and tactical planning. Let me go through it with you. And I will try to do it a perfect run, but if I don't, well, don't worry too much. See those guys? Break their void shield first, get to cover. Okay, make sure to switch back to your Secret Garden before getting to cover. When these guys come up, I fully debuff them. And I start blasting while moving forward. The War Slaves don't deal a lot of damage. So you can blast them while moving forward, it's totally fine. If you want to build up your plasma, it's going to take you about 2 waves to start building up plasma, but you still don't want to cast your snare trap on every single one. Alright? Now, Grenadiers are very, very good. Why? As long as they don't attach their stuff to you, you'll be fine. But in this particular stage, where there's multiples of them around, you don't want to be jumping around like me. Okay? That's something you can do if you're experienced, but you just kind of want to be here. And even with cover, as you can see there, if they attach the grenades there, you might die. So the safest is actually back here if you can lure them in. Alright, so you can be safe behind these walls and still cast and hit them. This might cost you a bit of extra time, but it is very safe if you are unsure of your techniques. Okay? So just be aware of that. Now we'll apply the same techniques later on to all of them. So it's going to be the same thing, but you got to be careful. Okay, you got to be careful. You can't be dying too much or you're going to lose it. Now, third wave onwards, assuming you don't die. Well, even if you do die, as you can see, I managed to get some resources back, some plasma resources back. Okay, you want to start casting your snare trap. This is to keep your momentum up. But if you see a Vulgus War Slave, I just quickly debuff and then I run on. Alright, why is this the case? Because you do not want to waste too much time. Cast your snare trap, move. Now, what's the enemy? Grenadier. Okay, Grenadiers, you don't have to worry. They have got very low hit points, but they will toss those big Boomba grenades that will kill you. So be aware of that. Alright, after you murder them, living artillery takes longer to kill, but after you murder them, next one, go. Alright, and you just keep going and going and going, and you just repeat that. If you see a Grenadier, you can also debuff him if you really, really want to, but he dies pretty easy. The ones you gotta really worry about are the living artillery, storm warriors, and the Panzer. The Panzer has the most hit points. He's very annoying. Alright, I cast, I get to cover. Get to cover straight away. You must be able to hide your full body. If you see something like a Grenadier throwing grenades, you might want to get to a different cover. So move to a different cover, try to position yourself where they're not going to catch you. The Panzer has a shotgun, so you want to avoid that shotgun hit, because it will hurt. Okay? Now, if your gun is like fully cored up and stuff, you can make this go even faster by using your gun well, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to minimize my gun use for this particular demonstration. However, in the walkthrough section, alright, I will use my gun a bit more. At level 25, I mean. The earlier levels do not even need that. Try to throw your snare trap into the middle of the horde. Use your second skill whenever necessary, or whenever your MP is like, you've got a big boatload of MP, then use it. It gives you a little extra damage. Helps you squeeze out a bit more. Whenever there's a Panzer, I would debuff him immediately and then start casting. If my cover doesn't work, I try to get to a different set of cover. Okay, I don't go for the health orbs or anything like that. But please be aware that some enemies can hit through cover as well, so that can be very annoying. Try to stay on the safe side. Alright, no matter what, that's a big priority for you. And if you get a grenade attached to you, quickly go for some health. Alright, because you might actually die. The Panzers are the biggest and slowest targets. They require the most tender loving care, so abuse that. But otherwise, just find cover in each section and just cast, and you're good. Okay. Sometimes if the section is close enough, I don't bother casting a snare trap. I just go through. Basically, the war slaves and the grenadiers, if you see that they're the threat, you can literally safely ignore it. Because they're gonna do like, they have minimal hit points and they do very little damage. Grenadier just have to be aware of the big Boomba. Now, this is where you gotta start worrying. Do you see that there was a Storm Warrior there? Alright. Oh, that was a Panzer, sorry. Oh, there's a Grenadier and Panzer. Sorry, I read that wrong. The Storm Warriors are the ones that do the Greg's bombardment. You gotta really worry about those. I was very lucky that they didn't spawn this time, but if they do spawn, they're the ones you gotta panic the most about. Okay. Aha! Storm Warrior. Okay. If he does a bump, he can actually knock you out from behind cover with his melee. And if he does a bombardment, you gotta roll completely out of it. The radius of the bombardment is actually bigger than what is shown, so you may die. Alright, I died there, but that was to a Grenadier actually, sadly. Just be very careful with the Storm Warriors because they are some of the biggest threats to you. If you have to, debuff them and then try to kill them quickly. But if they start bombarding, well, be careful. Roll all the way out of the bombardment. Don't leave it a chance. Because like I said, the bombardment actually hits beyond the radius shown. Okay, you might see the circle on the ground and think, oh yeah, I'm outside of that circle. Nah. These guys will just say, nah, bruh. You're in my circle. You're in my range. Okay? Ah, War Slave, okay. War Slave is a free pass. Grenadier also theoretically a free pass, but they can still blow you up, so we gotta be careful. Storm Warrior, start panicking. Start panicking and roll. Roll for dear life. Yeah, the explosion is, as you can see, bigger than the radius, so you gotta be careful with that.
There's no getting away.
And there's two of them. Okay, this is getting out of hand. Now there's two of them.
This is going to sting.
There we go. Okay, clear. Once Ledras spawns, just
My shield.
find some close cover, as close as you can to him. This is to make sure that the bounce distance for your first skill is as short as possible.
Begin tracking.
That will happen. He will go to center, cast your snare trap,
This is going to hurt.
move safely behind cover, and then just relax. Debuff him and relax. Cast your second skill where necessary, and just relax. You will definitely finish it below the 10-minute mark. Okay? There you go. Done. And that's that. It does take a bit longer, but it's very doable. So this is what you do if you want to ensure that you beat these void erosions as quickly as possible. Okay? Have fun. I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, and before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I can't believe I almost forgot. February's top supporters, CG Mayhem as our top tipper. Top tipper list includes Jess A. Davis. Top super chatter is Lawbreaker. Top super chatter list includes CU Yuri, Sir Tommy, Perk Crab, Rafi Gianna. And our top channel membership gifter is Jody Wilkins, along with Arcane Silver. Thank you guys so much. Catch you later. And don't forget to watch the walkthrough guide when it's posted if you need help. Okay? See you later.